Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing Narkissos in the 5-minute pool on ICC. So I just played Narkissos in 1 minute and played like 4 games. I think I went 3-1. Now we're doing battle in the 5-minute pool. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve in the Ruy Lopez. So as I said in my 1-minute video, Narkissos is Eric Hansen, the Canadian Grandmaster. But on his stream the other day, because he does like a stream on Twitch, on his stream the other day, Robin van Kampen was playing on his account, or at least on Narkissos. So this could be him, Eric, or it could be van Kampen. Okay, I'll just play h6 in this position. We might get one of the sharper lines of this. I was thinking about playing g6, but this is interesting too. Trying to remember what to do against this line, because a3, bishop a2 is pretty challenging. This is a plan I've struggled with against in the past. Trying to remember how to play it. He wants to go b4. It's one of the main ideas behind bishop a2. Could play a5. It's kind of interesting. You know, let's do that. Let's play a5. Don't know how great this move is. Actually, this move might drop a pawn. Yeah, because he has queen b3, I think. This is a move he could have played. Attacking f7 and b7. He didn't play it, though. Do I play b4? b4, d5, knight b8. I worry about that pawn. I worry that that pawn would become weak. Let's just do it, though. I think I can maybe reroute the knight through that square b8. Okay, so he's doing the same thing as before. So queen e7, d5, if I take, queen d7, d5 will be similar. Let's go queen e7. Let's do that instead. I'm thinking if he goes here, maybe I take here. He takes c6, I take d2. That's fine for me. So d5, I take c3. He probably takes with his pawn. And then I can go knight d8. It's cramped, but I'm not losing anything. Not that I see. I want to use e7 rather than d7 for a couple reasons. One, I can drop this knight to e7 if I want to. And the other reason I was worried if I put my queen on d7 and he goes d5, I wouldn't have this in-between move because he takes here with an attack on my queen. So that's why I chose that. Okay, so now do I go knight e7? Or knight d7, rather. Possibly. Let's go bishop a6 first. Let's wait and see. Maybe bishop d3 is slightly annoying to him. Hard to say. Okay, because now I can bring this knight through b7 and into c5. It's kind of an interesting plan. Let's do that. Somehow I'm coordinating, even though it looks awkward. Making a lot of backward moves, but still coordinating. Okay, let's bring this knight up. He's challenging me on that square. Makes sense. Okay, let's just take, and then bring the other knight into c5. He can take it, and my pawns are kind of wrecked, but I think it's okay. Let's just pre-move this. Now let's go here. Don't think it makes sense to use the other rook. I might want the a rook to defend the a pawn. There's no sense in using that. Queen e8 is now enabled. Maybe I can attack a4 that way. I think there's a pretty decent chance that he'll trade on c5 sometime soon. We'll pre-move that just in case. It's hard to find a plan for him otherwise. Okay. Okay, so now he's attacking these pawns. That's a good move. Yeah, I didn't see that. So I think that means I have to sack something. Fortunately, I have this move. So rook b4, I'm attacking a4 and c4. If he takes with the knight, maybe I can go queen f6. Maybe that's a little awkward. Prior to taking anything. Because if I took here... Okay, 1 second, I'm just trying to calculate what's going to happen now. Okay, bishop d6 seems like the move. Let's go there. Because I presume he's going to play knight c6 now. And if I trade and take on a4, I'm in business, right? This looks good for me. He has e5 maybe at some point, but other than that, looks all right. Queen f4, does that make sense? Probably not. Okay, let's just take. What about rook b2? Rook b2, he has rook a3. Just seeing if I can exploit that back rank somehow. I don't see how. Yeah, he's got to make a passive move now. Let's stop him from embarrassing me with e5. If he goes g3, I'll play g5. I just don't want him to play f4 and connect all his pawns. I can kick this knight out when I want. I can go like bishop b7. It's a weird position. There's no doubt about that. I feel like I better play this move. He's going to try to make it hard for me to trade. I also feel like I should maybe move my king just with his bishop lurking on a2. Maybe I should just go rook a4 and rook a3 and a4 as well very soon. He's going to have a heck of a time getting f4 in. It's hard for him to do that. Okay, let's go here. Just slowly inching up the board. Thing is, I don't know if I want to play a4 because where do I go after that? It's a big question. He can go knight a6, but what is he going to do there? It's a mystery. Really do not know what he's up to with that move. Okay, let's just do this. Bring our king closer. I mean, I kind of wonder if he's like trapping his own knight now. I'm going to march this a-pawn now that it actually has room to march. This a-pawn's going. With my bishop potentially able to support it, not looking good for him, I don't think. Just march this. Take. Okay, let's just push. I gotta be careful. Let's be careful. I think I can do that though. If knight e6, king g8, bishop h7, king h8, there's no mate. Yeah, I can do that. But he can go knight e6 and then rook a7. Duh. It's tricky. And then maybe e4? I don't know. Maybe. It's weird though.
Check.
It's going to be played.
Check.
Nah, he might just take the perpetual.
Check.
I actually didn't see that perpetual. All right. Yeah, I think I messed that up. He got some good counterplay at the end. e5. I should have just taken with the bishop. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I don't know why I had it in me that I had to take with a pawn. I guess I wanted to stop knight takes b3, but my a-pawn is like a runaway train. I shouldn't shut down my bishop by doing that. And I didn't want to take on c7 first because he takes, and then a2, and then rook a7. And I can't free up my rook. Okay, let's take a look, though. That was an interesting game. So we played this main line. I have faced this variation with... So this is the Zaitsev variation, bishop b7. And I have faced this move a3 before. It's tricky. I think it's quite a good move, actually. Most people just play knight bd2 kind of automatically, but this is really interesting. Now knight bd2. Yeah, and black can choose between g6 and h6 in this position. g6 is more ambitious, but I've had trouble with that in the past, so I played h6 this time. Bishop here. I'll stick on the engine right now, just see what it says. So a5. I wonder if he could do this right away, attacking here and here. But in that case, I can go queen d7, take. Is there some knight takes d4 trick? I guess there is. Yeah, attacking his queen. Knight takes, e takes, and if he takes my bishop, then I can trap his queen. That's a nice queen trap. So instead, he played a4. I played b4, then he went queen b3. I played this awkward-looking move, queen e7, but it worked out really nicely, didn't it? I look like a genius insofar as how I rerouted my knights after this. All intentional, I assure you. Computer actually likes it. Yeah, black often has this question in the Zaitsev, like whether to put the queen on e7 or d7 in response to this bishop a2, bishop b3 thing. It's kind of unique to the a3 line. One thing I remember in analyzing this line a while back is that you do have to be open to queen e7, so maybe that helped me find this move quicker. I still spent a little bit, maybe too much time. He had a time advantage for the first half of this game. Knight d8. And it was nice to find this reorganizational plan. Knight d7, knight b7. Yeah, it's possible he shouldn't play c4. He might want to leave that square open for his knight or something. Because if I'm blockading the c5 square, it probably doesn't help him too much. And maybe I can hold off on knight to c5 a little bit. The engine suggests just bringing this rook over, rook eb8. It's interesting. So here, take it. Of course, the engine really likes white in this position. Maybe it's because he could have done this right away with the double attack. Although this pawn is defended, but my structure is a mess now. Queen d6. It's kind of weird. Like, he's not liable to just win one of these pawns, because if he takes on a5, I always have bishop takes c4 as a discovery, but it's probably harder for black to get play here than it is for white. Then again, I don't know. I have this plan of just doing this and sticking the rook on a great outpost square, where if he takes it, he's helping my pawn structure. So, rook back, rook eb8. He took, I took. Now he took. Engine says queen c3 without capturing yet is worthy of attention. That might be a savvier move order, even though it's less forcing. If I take here, he takes here and double attack. So that's no good. And after queen c3, I would have hated to play knight b7. I really would like to avoid playing that move. So take and take. Queen c3. Yeah, and rook b4. This is a nice move. This is a move that, honestly, even if he had a dark square bishop remaining that could attack my rook on this square, I might still consider playing, because I might be able to fix my pawn structures should he ever take on b4. It might be worth it to get a pawn, protected pass pawn there. It'd be like a thematic exchange sacrifice if he had a minor piece that could attack this square. Not saying it would be good necessarily, but this was a strong move, queen f6. Because now I threatened bishop d6, and I felt the initiative passing over to me now. It's interesting that the engine just suggests f4 in this position. Just let me take this pawn, but still thinks black's plenty better. So he's going to have a hard time, first of all, just preventing me from getting the pawn back in this position, and also coping with the bishop pair plus potential passed a pawn, which is looking more and more likely that I'll get. Yeah, I feel like I really should have won this game the way it played out. f6, because I want to stop him from playing e5 and taking away squares from my bishop. So f6, and he can't play f4 because I play bishop takes f4, so hence he plays g3. Now I play g5 in reaction to that. Bishop b7. Thought this was okay. I thought he maybe should just keep the knight on c6 because I don't really see what he gained by avoiding the trade for so long. I don't know, though. Maybe he wanted to stop me from getting like an unopposed dark square bishop that he would never have chances of capturing. So the eval is very much in my favor all throughout here. Doesn't like rook a1 so much, huh? It says just a4 instead. And then if his rook comes in, let's say rook comes in here, king e7, okay. It's still big edge to black. I mean, I was happy to play rook a1 because I felt my rook got more scope, but the computer does think it's a mistake. a4. Oh, you found a good move, a5, e5. Good practical chance. Okay, so it says I'm better after f takes e, but what about bishop takes? I regretted not playing this move. Bishop f5. Why is that so strong? So if I just push my pawn, knight takes c7. I guess I might run into a similar problem
Check.
as in the game. Actually, could be even worse compared to the game.
Check.
Yeah, this is the type of scenario I was worried about having. Except in the game, I didn't have my f-pawn because I took with my f-pawn and then... Or actually, my pawn was on e5, I should say, and my bishop was on d6. I should have prevented this scenario from happening. Let's see where I could have improved, though, after f takes e5. c6. That's a tough move. I don't know. That wasn't even on my radar. Preventing him from just winning a pawn on c7. I just pushed the a-pawn, right? He took here.
Check.
Wow, it actually looks like he's better now. How does that work?
Check.
Rook g7. I mean, with the time situation, he
Check.
might have been smart to go for the draw. But, yeah, this... I was thinking about playing here and trying to get my bishop to e5 so I could actually move this rook. But actually, I still can't move it. As long as his rook stays on a7, how am I ever going to move it without losing the a2 pawn? Ah, okay, if he takes with the bishop, I could go here, is maybe something I was thinking about. Ah, but he has this
Check.
move still. It's complicated. Here, take. If I take rook a6, and despite being up a piece for 2 pawns, I'm worse. Because he's going to win one of these pawns back. If bishop e7, rook a7 wins a whole bishop. Wow, yeah, that's a complicated position. I mean, certainly way more complicated than the amount of time we have allows for. Super fascinating. So it actually looks like I had good control over this position until I played rook a1. I should just push the passed pawn. I guess I was used to having my rook stuck over there on the a4 and a3 squares, and as soon as it had more scope, I just tried to jump on that opportunity, but simply pushing the pawn would be better. Let's compare. So if he plays rook b8 now, king e7, yeah, I avoid a lot of the pins and the knight takes c7 business when he does this, when I do this. Here, rook b3, yep, that's another benefit of having the pawn on a4 as opposed to a5. And in such an endgame, he's just in danger of having a completely irrelevant knight. The best he can do is try to escape this way and maybe hold like an opposite color bishop ending or something. If I decide to take the knight. He played well in time pressure. He found a lot of good moves like e5 and bishop f5. That was a nice move. Bishop f5 is important because he wants to take on c7, but right now his rook is trying to keep an eye on the bishop too. So he plays bishop f5 to solve that problem. Also, it hides the bishop so that when I do eventually get a pawn to a2, I can't do a discovery on it. Very, very interesting. This is one of the more interesting Blitz games I've had recently. I think I wouldn't repeat this variation, though. At least the one with a5. I don't know. It does discourage him from going b4. He still could play b4, but I'm just not sure about the ramifications of leaving the b5 pawn undefended. In retrospect, I might just play something like, queen d7 in this position, something more standard. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle against Narkissos, Grandmaster Eric Hansen, and I will be back tomorrow with another Blitz game. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.